So I'm making a plastic yarn, which is called Plarn, and I'm using a very large bag which is left over from the pandemic when they used to put them in the Tesco deliveries. And so you cut off the sealed end so that it turns it into a tube, basically. So you've got two open sides and you fold it flat. Try and get rid of all the creases. I had to take the sound off the background because it was so crinkly and annoying. So you lie it out flat with the two open ends to the sides, and then when you've got a nice flat edge you can start to wind it up until you get to about an inch, or in this case 2 inches away from the top edge, and then you start making narrow cuts, I'd say about 1/2 inch apart. Better if you've got a better pair of scissors than I had. And so you do that all the way across. You don't cut to the top fold. Then you just slide your hand through the bit that hasn't been cut, and you can see all the bits hanging down. Then this is the important stage. You find the very end, and the first cut is going to be the end of your plarn. So you just cut across there. So that separates the first part of the yarn, plarn, that's your end. Now you're going to cut diagonally across from your bottom cut across diagonally to the next cut, and repeat and repeat. It's very slow, especially when you've got rubbish scissors like I had. And you just keep cutting across in a diagonal, so you're never cutting into the plarn, you're creating a long piece of plarn. Usually it's not quite such a big gap, but I left a big gap in this case. You can go up to about 1 inch, leave about 1 inch from the top, and that would work just as well. I gave myself a bit more work to do. So you just keep going. And speed up the rest of this slow process. Then you have your end and you start winding. I didn't record all of the winding because it's very slow, and you just keep going until you end up with your ball of plarn. There you go. Okay. The first stitch, you just crochet single stitch in exactly the same way you would crochet with wool. And I'm just tucking the threads out of the way. I'm going round the edge of the basket now. So you make your circular base, and then you pick up the outside loop of the single crochet to do start doing the wall. You can see you just crochet in exactly the same way as you would crochet with wool, and you can pretty much do any stitches depending on the texture of the bag plastic. This is a particularly soft soft one, so it's very easy to work with. The whiter one is stiffer, but it's still okay. So that's that. That gives you an idea. And then you just keep working around, building up the sides. So I've got one I made earlier. I was messing around trying out different patterns and designs like that. And then this one, just when I've got all the loose ends, I just go around. I probably shouldn't suggest this out loud, but you use a tool to melt just carefully the ends off. I'm not going to say what, but you know what I mean. And there, it's another bag. So I'll show you some others that I've made. Bags in my fridge that I've made. I used potatoes as a spare one. I had lemons in there. This was the original effort for picking the apples off the tree. That's what gave me the inspiration. And there's another one, so they're all quite pretty. You could put anything you like in there.